Yeah, well, for this one, we wanted to sort of create like a majestic motif in a dark setting. We went pretty straight down the line, like giving it the action score. It's funny hearing all of these kind of more fun approaches, where it's not taking itself as seriously. We're going right at it, like, action drama kind of vibes. So, we've got some propulsive tension in there to support, gameplay and some jarring angular hits and all that. The palette is like pretty much a hybrid of like orchestral elements, big brass, ostinato strings, and then, some like a battery of drums. I'm set up here for live ensemble recording, and I've got like tons and tons of big drums and things. I think I even like brought in, a little example of like some of the crazy stuff that we beat on, and then the idea was basically just to do that and meld it with, some grinding synths, and just to put you in this dark world, and, with the memorable sort of majestic melody. And maybe I'll let Ben elaborate further.
Yeah, it's funny, like, so I mean, a little bit about me. So I mostly exist in the TV scoring world, and I sort of came up working with Tree as his assistant, and so like we sort of meld our styles together pretty well. I do remember at the time that we did this, it was right around the time I got this Prophet 6 right here. So it's just all over that thing. Oh my God. I was just like jamming it into it. And there's so many cool pulses and all this stuff that I think that really like opened up the world. This is actually my first analog synth is this one, which is a great one to start with.
Yeah, no
and
kidding.
So I was just like, oh man.
Not a lot of people get a Cadillac at age 16.
I know, man. Well, it was just it opened up a whole world, because there's stuff you can do with VSTs and soft synths. There's a lot of really cool stuff, and it's like the customizability is great. But on the other side of it, having something where you're restricted, having something where like you might adjust it and then it might never be exactly the same, is something really special that I really loved. And yeah, so we threw it into this and had a lot of fun with it.
And backpedaling just a sec, Tree, you didn't give us any sort of rundown on just who you are prior to doing this, just for due diligence, the A&E biography in capsule summary of Tree Adams.
Well, I've been writing music for film and TV primarily for a long time. Have done some video game work as well. I currently have like several television shows, like ongoing series that I do. I do like the 100, which is like a science fiction kind of vibe, big sort of drama sound, sort of similar to what we're doing here. I do NCIS New Orleans. I was doing Californication for years when that was on, a lot of that. And then video game wise, I guess, I've done, I did this thing for Sony PlayStation called Massive Action Game, MAG. That was kind of fun. And, I've done a few other things in the video game world, and I'm doing more of it now, and really enjoy it. Doing a lot of work with like orchestral music and ensemble recording, and, spent many years in the rock band traveling. That's my background.
Love it. No, I appreciate that. I just didn't want to skip past that. Well, let's listen to you, as you said, going right at it. Yeah, nice. That's that feels like the like I remember Daniel saying when he did his first one, it was sort of like thinking in terms of the the I don't know, I don't remember how you phrased it, but sort of like the traditional Counter-Strike experience of, you know, bravura, modern action, and sort of varying that. And this is the only one that's sort of even remotely in that territory, although I feel like it's even more sort of serious.
It's pretty serious, yeah.
Yeah, there's some high stakes shit going on.
Yeah, don't mess with us, man.
Yeah, exactly.
It cracks me up like when I put that next to like the taco truck or like,
Yeah,
like
totally.
martial arts. I was like, I love it. I love it.
It's so
Love
funny.
the disparity of that.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like when I'm thinking back and like,
Got a really nice sort of, well, it's very cinematic, right, and very serious, but it's also got a lot of twists and turns that kind of takes you on a journey, which I think will give it a lot of staying power because it's, you know, it continues to be interesting and
Yeah.
kind of think you know where it's at. It sort of takes a turn somewhere else and goes somewhere else that's interesting. So nice work on that. It's really great.
Yeah.
thanks, man. Yeah, I feel like I just was really excited to be writing game music. Like, it's just like, you know, and so it just sounds like game music. A lot of you guys, I'm hearing you saying like, you know, I want to do something completely different. I had all this stuff that was like this and like something that isn't in my catalog. And for me, it was just like, well, this is the different thing. Like, let's
Right.
do it. Let's go 1000% at it and just run at this action game music.
That's great. Yeah, I love how there's like something for everybody. You know, there's going to be somebody who like, you know, at what 20 million people. There's going to be tons of people who's like, that's exactly what I want. I want the epic score.
Yeah.
I'm like playing a movie, and I think that's so awesome.
Yeah, and I want to meet the person who hears gunman taco truck music and says, "That's what I was looking for."
Yeah, I that's definitely the cloth I'm cut from. I love the super like, I mean, I love it all. It's why I love working in this industry. I mean, and I love that there's even things that exist that like this, where these very different approaches to the same exact thing can all kind of coexist and complement each other and bolster each other's sort of unique qualities by making them stand out all the more than they even would otherwise. But as a gamer, I'm definitely like, I love the subversive kind of weirdness that whether it's the Morricone or the taco truck, like I think left to my own devices, that's the where I find myself going after years of consuming piles of you know, the opposite of that of and feeling like I don't know how to find myself there, because then I hear it and I'm like, oh man, that's really cool that like what you guys did. I hear that and I think I don't know that I could have done that because I've spent so long off in the weirdness that it's like it's like I forgot my native language and I just only speak this new language now. So hats off, good.
And
Reminder.
I was going to say that the production again, man, just impeccable. You know, like very
Oh, thanks,
impressive,
man.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
want to go buy it right now, for real. Like, man.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm glad you set up also at the beginning to that end. To Daniel's point, I'm glad you mentioned how much you spend playing that percussion in there, and that's not sequenced, or at least
Yeah.
some or most of it is not sequenced. Because I found myself paying a lot closer attention to all the different kind of, you know, whether it's like a little riff that just kind of comes and goes, or the underlying sort of driving motor of it, but that really sparked for me on this. I listened to it before we recorded this, but that percussion didn't jump out to me the way it did after hearing this, and then I had this whole new appreciation for. There's a lot of nuance there, and there's actually a lot of sort of very precise production of those elements, which makes sense knowing now what you told us.
It's interesting that we've done it in this format where we talk about it and then we play the music,
Right.
because it enables you to tune into certain things. Because initially I thought that perhaps we would play the piece first and then talk about it, but I kind of like this format where, you know, by prefacing it with something, you're forced to kind of like tune into certain elements, or it just, you get there quick. Understand?
Yeah.